Yeah, hi, let's take a look at one of the topics that does cause confusion amongst a lot of people. That's options and warrants. Options and warrants. And part of the derivative family, options are the key one that we're going to be talking about today. Now, an option is to do with buying and selling shares. That's the whole point. But it's a derivative, which means that your investment has been derived from another investment. That's where it comes from. There's different types of options available to you. There's options and futures, and there's warrants, which you need to have a basic understanding of. So let's look at the three of those for you. Options, futures, and warrants. Now, what's the difference between the two? Well, first of all, an option is the right, not an obligation. So an option gives you the right, and I'll tell you what you have the right to do in a minute. A future is a binding right as well. So it's a right which is binding. So that's a binding right. That's the basic difference. Warrants are other kind of commodities as well. Futures can be other commodities, but warrants can be other commodities. The one that we're mainly worried about, as far as the CMAP is concerned, are options. That's the one you tend to see in the examination, options. Now, an option gives you the right, not the obligation, to buy or sell a share at a certain price in the future. That's the whole point behind it. So, you know, we're now, this video has been recorded in January, and I buy a warrant, an option, sorry. I buy an option which gives me the right to buy or sell a particular share, say by December this year. So it's very much a gamble. It's a complete and utter gamble at a certain price. We need to give you some examples to show you how these work. So the first example I'll give you, and we'll get the purple pen out for this one, is we'll do a call option. Now these are quite important terms here, because I've seen that in the exam before. A call option. Now, a call option gives you the right to buy a share. So call is buy. Best way to remember that is that when you go into a pub to get yourself some beer, you call over the governor and you ask for a pint of his very special ale, and that's known as a buy option. So an example for you, this one. Let's just say then today you quite fancy buying some shares, and you quite fancy buying some shares with Aviva. Aviva is a large insurance company, of course, and say today's price, the shares are priced at say £3 each. So that's the current situation. Now you reckon that Aviva are going to do okay. It's up to you what you think they're going to do, but you decide now to go into the market. You go to the stock market, and you go to the dealers, that they're traders. It's all electronic now, there's not actually people in the marketplace anymore. And you find a trader who's willing to sell you an option. So you effectively buy yourself a piece of paper, an option. You purchase this option. Now this option that you purchase and pay money for gives you the option to buy Aviva shares at £4 is the price, on the 31st of December. So say we're January, the whole year here. So yeah, and you pay, I don't know, 50 pence for this option or whatever it is, that doesn't really matter. So you're buying a piece of paper. Remember, you're buying something that's deriving a profit from something else. So you haven't actually bought the shares in Aviva, you just bought this option from a trader. So you then hang around and decide what's going to happen. So come the end of December, so 31st of December, you wait and see. So you can sell the options before then, but we'll go into that in a minute. 31st December, and the price of the Aviva shares, say for example, has gone up now to, just an example, £5. So you spent 50 pence to buy shares at £4. Now they're priced at £5. So you're going to be pretty chuffed now, aren't you? So big smiley face now. Because you're able to buy that share at £4 and then sell it again quickly for £5, make £1 profit, less your 50p, you made 50 pence profit. You made 100% profit on your investment. It's not bad, that, is it? Because you only forked out 50p in the first right, and you've made 100% profit. which is why they are extremely lucrative. But on the other hand, though, the price of Aviva shares, they might have had a big rocket problem or something. The guys are off to Mars, aren't they? Everyone seems to want to go to Mars. Even Trump wants to start landing back on the moon, doesn't he? So let's say there's a big explosion in space, and Aviva insured them all, and say it was £2. And think about it, you've got this option to buy shares at £4, knowing they're only worth £2. So you're going to have a big unhappy face on, aren't you? Of course you are, because you ain't going to exercise that option, are you? You're just going to rip up your piece of paper. You've lost 50p. So you've lost all your money. Now, you're not just buying one of these things. You buy thousands of these things. That's how it works. And hedge funds buy these things. A hedge fund, by its nature, is going to invest in something and then hedge against it not doing so well. That's how they work, isn't it? They'll invest a load of money in Aviva shares and probably buy some options to offset the fact if they go down. It's just the way they work. That's it, isn't it? Shorting comes into its own right as well. I'll tell you about shorts in a moment as well. So that's the basic option. That's an option, a call option, to buy a share at a certain price in the future. Now you can sell your option in between the time here. If it gets close to the execution date, you can sell your piece of paper at a profit for somebody else in the market who'll buy it, and they'll exercise the option. So it's like an investment. Let's take a look at the next one then for you. Okay, let's take a look at another type of option. This one's a put option. So I didn't got a pen for that one. A put option. A put option. Now, a put option gives you the right to sell a share. So it's the opposite to buy. Let's take another example of another share. British Airways. BA. I always fly with BA when I go abroad. Good company, good customer skills, good customer service, excellent planes, but they've all got good planes, haven't they? And say, for example, the current price today is £4. So I go on the market and I buy myself a put option. Now this put option that I purchase, let's sneak it in here for you, gives me the right to sell at £5. So that gives me the option to sell. Remember, that one's to buy, this one's to sell at £5. Again, on the 31st, let's sneak that in there for you, of December. So let's just put a little, so we can separate that slightly. So I'm not buying an option to buy, I'm buying an option to sell. So what happens then, of course, come the end of the month, or end of the year, sorry, 31st of December, BA price is £3. Now, am I going to be happy or am I going to be sad? Think about it logically. Well, you're going to be happy, and I'll tell you why. You've paid 50p or whatever the option cost is, I put 50p in there for you, which gives you the right, not the obligation, the right to sell BA shares at £5 a pop to the dealer that sold you the option on the 31st December. So come along to the 31st December, the price of BA shares are £3. So you quickly go and buy a few of those shares, and then you sell it straight away to the dealer for £5. You're making yourself a £2 profit on the deal. Now obviously you pay 50p, so you're making 300% profit on that. Not bad, eh? Now obviously if the price of BA shares, say, were £6, which could quite easily happen, you're going to be incredibly unhappy. Sneak that in for you. Incredibly unhappy because you're not going to exercise this option, are you? You're not going to, buy at £6 and sell at £5. You're going to make a loss. You should just tear up your piece of paper. So it's the same concept, but just a different route. Now, for those of you that are old enough to remember 9/11, the devastation on the Twin Towers, of course, Osama bin Laden and all his mates knew that if it happened, if it worked, then the shares of airlines would go down. They knew that. So they did this, they bought put options on the market. British Airways shares were riding high. Suddenly 9/11 happened, they collapsed because BA make most of their money from the transatlantic route. So they collapsed. So effectively they were worth quite a lot of money. After 9/11 they were worth a lot less. So they bought a load of put options, bin Laden and his men. Not a lot of people know that. and they made a lot of money. But the fact is, we've got great money laundering audit trails now, and they got all the money back from all the crooks that did it. Interesting one, that one, isn't it? What I'll do is just give you a quick overview of another term used by derivatives and hedge funds. That's called shorting. Now, when you short a share, you're expecting that share price to fall, and the hedge funds do this a lot. So say, for example, the recent collapse of Carillion. Now, Carillion's share price, of course, has plummeted, and now, of course, they're worth nothing. They've gone into liquidation. Now, hedge funds knew this. These guys know what's going on. So what you do when you short is that the price of the share is there, and you expect it to be there at some point in the future, lower, much lower. Let's put my hand up there so you can see it. So what you do is you borrow shares from somebody, which you can do. They do that. Then you sell those shares on the market at a high price, at where they are, and then 2 weeks later or whatever, you buy them at a lower price. You buy them back again. You give them back to the person you borrowed, and you've effectively made yourself a profit. That's called shorting. It's quite clever, isn't it? So if you know that a share price is beginning to collapse, and there's a run on the company, profit warnings, etc., just go and borrow some from the market, sell them on the market, make the profit, make the money, and then 2-3 weeks later, whatever it is, you then buy them back because, of course, they've gone down, and you pay them back to the person you borrowed them from, obviously, and you've made yourself a handsome profit. That's called shorting. Problem with shorting, of course, it's perfectly acceptable, but it does encourage prices to fall. When you know you're being shorted, it knows that you're in trouble. Just the extra for you, it doesn't always crop up in the syllabus, but options do. Hope you found that useful. Bye.